it blows me away how far the government will let a director go before they close them down.
Really?
Oh, dude. Like, you know, you see how, like, I guess in the 80s and, like, Christopher Skase and Alan Bond and all these guys, and they're like, yeah, they went broke owing all this money. You just, especially if you've got an okay reputation, you can take a lot of trust from people, extend it out over an extended period of time, pay nothing to them, borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. So when I say borrowing, you could use like a Waterpro or a Bunnings or a whatever as a source of income by buying stuff and not paying for it, and then charging your client for it, so you've got paid for it, and then paying stuff, putting money somewhere that you shouldn't, like offshore or different bank accounts or whatever, and then when you go to pay your bills, you don't have your money, so they go, we need money, and you're like, well, sorry, I don't have any, and they're like, where did it go? We're like, I don't know, because you do know, but you're a fucking liar. And then they go through bankruptcy proceedings, you've got nothing left, so no one gets anything, and the money's gone somewhere else. It's crazy. It's so easy. And the funny thing is, it's so easy to run a business properly. It takes more time to get a driver's license than it does to open a business.
Yeah.
So, you know, people, the reason that the government want people to have a driver's license, one, is because it generates money. But two, it's so that they know that the roads are being populated by people that understand the road rules and that are less likely to cause harm to anyone. But when you open a business, there is no rules. There is register an ABN, and if you're turning over $70,000 or more, register for GST, and even that's not getting checked. Like, it'll only get picked up later. You know, there's no magic number that goes, all right, you're turning over $70,000 a year, click GST registered, because we've got, I guess, back-end access to your software, and therefore we can tell when the 70 grand starts. They're relying on self-reporting.
Yeah.
So all of these small businesses are getting hurt by people that are either immoral or uneducated around the way they run their business.
Yeah.
There's no cover for it. Like, at least with the government, they force you to have third-party property and personal injury on your car. So if you kill someone or injure someone permanently in an accident, your registration helps cover the insurance to help that person move forward. You have someone go bankrupt, it's too bad, sorry. Like, should have known better, guy. The only thing I think that exists is superannuation protection for employees, but the person has to go bankrupt before that happens. So if they broker a deal with the creditors and that excludes the staff's superannuation, and they don't fully liquidate or they don't bankrupt, they just administer, the staff don't get that super. It's crazy. I think blockchain is going to have a dramatic effect on the way that staff and people are protected. Because if you think about, like, all of the stuff I just talked about is being watched real time permanently by the government.
It's just like a permanent record.
As soon as you step out of line, they just take it out of your account.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as superannuation's due, taken out of your account. As soon as this happens, taken out of your account. Like, and then everyone's safe and protected. People aren't going to like it because they can't be delinquent. It probably wouldn't hurt for the government to have a better system for businesses, and I don't want that to stunt the growth of our economy either. Like, I think that it's important for small businesses to start and have a crack, and for an 18-year-old kid to be able to start, you know, an online business whilst at school. I just think that Australia could benefit from some better education around that, or some better regulation around certain parts of it, around the reporting and the taxes and I guess the people, the super, and the stuff that affects the individuals. Because businesses need to protect themselves. That's the reality of it. Like, you choose to go into business, you take the positives with the negatives, and if you're not smart enough to protect yourself from harm from other companies, that's your fault. And so right now I've got people that owe me money and bad debt, and that's my fault because I didn't deal with it properly. You can't blame them. Like, I'm the one that allowed them to go that far into debt. I'm the one that gave them credit. I'm the one that XYZ. So, but individuals like you, as an employee, you don't control that. You know what I mean? Like, you can check, has my super been paid, or has my pay gone in, or am I getting paid the right amount? Like, all of that stuff's checkable. But if you don't go, like, you're educated and you're English as a first language. Like you can go look that shit up, but there'd be plenty of people out there that are like, I didn't know that you had to get paid a certain amount. I didn't know that it's not right for my pay not to go in on the day it's due. I didn't know that it wasn't right for my superannuation to get paid every quarter, and if it wasn't, that the business can get penalised. Did you know that the penalisation, the maximum penalty for not paying super for a company is 100% of the unpaid super? Right? So if I owe you 10 grand super and I didn't pay you that super and I get caught, I have to pay 10 grand fine to the government and I have to pay your 10 grand straight away. The government takes superannuation so seriously when they find out that you haven't paid it. They'll fine you for it. They'll garnish wages. Like they'll access your bank account. They'll bankrupt you. They don't give a shit because the superannuation has been created to protect the future Australians from low pensions or no pensions.
Yeah.
So when it's not getting paid, the government aren't happy about that. So they'll chase that. Like the wolves will be on you for that. But you know the stuff that you owe the government, they're so relaxed about. If you communicate well with them, our government should be protecting the individuals a bit more. Like, I've heard some crazy stories about people with $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 of unpaid super. Now, superannuation is now nearly 10% of your wage. The average Australian wage is $60,000, $70,000. They should be earning $7 grand of super a year. If you've got a $35,000 unpaid super bill, you haven't been paid super for 5 years. You should know that as an employee, and as a governing body, Australia. They should know that as well. They should know that the super hasn't been paid. So, but in saying that, I got caught not paying super. Fucking in our early years, I trusted that my business partner was doing it. I don't know why it wasn't getting paid, but we got caught. But that's really reinforcing my point that people can open a business too easily, because I wasn't aware that we had to, like, I guess I knew super got paid, but it just wasn't at the forefront of our minds. We were just kind of trying to keep our business open. I'm now trading in the millions with like 12 people's livelihoods, plus other like contractors and suppliers that we deal with in my control, and I've done that with a high school education. And I'm not saying that to big note what I've done. I'm saying that to highlight that you don't need a license or any major education to go start a business. So that's great because we live in such a beautiful world and a beautiful country, but it's really dangerous as well, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can hurt people.